So Jesus' aim that he would reconcile, in verse 16, us both to God in one body through the cross, thereby killing the hostility. I love this. He came and preached peace to you who were far off and peace to those who were near. No matter your proximity, both groups needed peace. It's so beautiful. It's like there's your level playing field. No matter your morality, no matter your history, both groups need the same preaching of peace. And then we both have access in one spirit to the Father. Again, Ephesians is a book where the Trinity is working the whole time, where you see this dance of the Trinity happening again and again, where Father comes up and then Spirit and then Son, and they're kind of back and forth taking center stage as the need of the moment. And that's really important, because when we look at Ephesians 5 together in the next couple of days, we've got to remember how the dance of the Trinity is happening to understand how the dance of the community needs to happen. Because we're reflecting a Trinity that is not self-serving, or that isn't hogging the stage, or isn't, oh, I'm the leader and therefore Spirit and Son, you need to listen to me. That's not how the Trinity operates. There's this constant dance of who is needed in the moment, and we've got to recognize that in order for us to reflect that in how our teams operate, in how our leadership works, and how our marriages work. That's what we're coming to reflect. And so it's beautiful to see that constant interaction of the Trinity in the first few chapters, because that's what we're called to reflect, to participate in, and to reflect in every sphere of our lives. So then you are no longer, verse 19, so then you are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God, built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Christ Jesus himself being the cornerstone. So that verse has echoes of Isaiah 28:16, where Jesus himself is the tested cornerstone, and anyone who trusts in him will not be put to shame. There's this like solid base of this household that's being built. And I love these verses because it shows two realities of being the people of God. There's two kind of metaphors being used here. There's this household. It's solid, it's sturdy, it's permanent. There's a structure to it that we can touch and feel and see the parameters of. But it's not just a household, which would be dry and static, because also there's this metaphor of being joined together and growing together. So there's this living being, this kind of almost this plant metaphor joined together with a household metaphor. And Paul's doing that intentionally because we are growing, because we're living, because we are evolving, if you like, as the people of God. Because being static is only going to lead to an old wineskin being in place and just becoming more and more rigid. So it's neither the static house, nor is it this kind of fluid growing entity that no one can touch, that we don't understand the parameters, we don't know if it's sturdy. It's neither extreme. It's both things joined together. And that's important for us to understand, both in terms of our own walk with Jesus, recognizing that there's this solid tangibility, but there's also this fluid growth that's ever increasing and we can't box in. But also in terms of how we do our church life, how we influence our leadership teams, how we follow moves of the Spirit. Because sometimes we're so focused on structure and we ignore the growth and the change and the development. But sometimes we're so focused on the growth and the development that no one's seeing to the structure, and then we're wondering why things keep stalling. Both are important. I think Julian says this really well whenever he talks on wine and wineskins. Well, the wine is really important because the wineskin is pointless if you don't have wine inside of it. But equally, the wineskin is really important because without it, the wine just gets spilled. It gets wasted. There's no structure there to allow it to grow, no structure there to allow it to mature. There's no structure there to actually allow it to be given to people. And so we've got to understand the both and of kingdom life. There's tangible structure. It's solid. The parameters are clear on the one hand. And then there's growth like a body or a plant that's fluid and evolving and might not go where we think it's going to go because it can't be boxed in. And both of those things need to be held together. Again, it's that beautiful tension. It's a both and. His sovereign will, our free will. This household that's sturdy and this plant that's ever evolving. And we've got to be comfortable as the people of God without distilling to the point of losing the meaning because we want neatness. We've got to be okay with letting go of neatness.